And part of me is just like, where's the romance again in this romance book? Hello friends and enemies, welcome to day 29 of Writemas, aka Vlogmas Writing Edition. Yesterday we didn't write too much, so we have a big day ahead of us. It says in my session target that I need to write 5,740 words in order to stay on track with my draft target of 75,000 words, essentially 50,000 words for the month of December. So far in the draft for the month of December, I have written 46,284 words. So it's just a little under 5,000 words, and I put my deadline as January 1st, which includes writing on January 1st itself. So we'll see if I make it. We'll see if it happens. Last session, I spent a lot of time just going back and forth between different flashback scenes because I already knew what I was going to be writing in those flashback scenes. So I was kind of just writing them to set them aside for when I would eventually use them. I'm getting a little bit stuck with my present day scenes, however, and I think that's mainly a pacing issue, which I know is one of my weak points. So today is probably going to be going back and forth between my flashback scenes and the current present day scene and seeing if something just like clicks, because we're so close to our goal of 50,000 words. Like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it's fine. But I would really love to achieve this goal. So with that said, let's get into our first writing sprint. Hello, it is 10:26. I just finished up my first writing sprint. My total word count right now is 499 words. I'm currently working on the flashback scene that I ended off with last night, and it's going pretty well. Not gonna lie, it feels a little bit like a fanfic right now. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but I'm just like, wow, I need to do this right. I need to do the fanfic girlies right with this. But I'm having a grand old time. It's so much fun. I'm just like, this is a fun time. This is a fun time. I do feel like I have to develop this character's personality a little bit because the female main character is talking to this secondary character, and there's someone who's vastly different from their counterpart in the previous drafts. Like, I'm talking backstory, name, personality, occupation. It's basically just like a brand new person. But I think I'm gonna explore who they are and try to figure out how they fit into the story a little bit more just through writing. You know, just playing around, doing little things here and there. Kind of like playing improvs or playing The Sims. Which, speaking of Sims, just to go on a tangent, I got a new laptop and I didn't transfer my Sims over to it because one, it was like over 50 gigabytes, and two, I didn't want it corrupting my new laptop because my previous laptop is from 2014. So I transferred basically everything over from my old laptop to my new laptop. And the other day I tried logging into my old laptop because I was like, I really want to play Sims 4. I haven't played in a while. The keyboard on it doesn't work, and I can't even like Bluetooth connect it to any of my Bluetooth keyboards. I don't know. I could probably look this up and figure out a solution and whatnot. But if anyone has any suggestions on how to fix that, let me know. Your girl just wants to play her silly little Sims games. Just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do after Writemas. Play more Sims. Just, I don't know. So on that note, I'm gonna take a break, get back into writing, and catch up with y'all after the next writing sprint. Hello, it is 11:07. I just finished up a writing sprint. My total word count for tonight is 769 words. I am really having a grand old time with this flashback scene. I think it's really cute. I think it's really fun. I just added a new song to a playlist because I was like, this song needs music. Like, if there's gonna be a scene that has a song attached to it, it's going to be this one. Hopefully I get to show you the reason why soon in the future. But I just added it to the playlist. It is Guilty by Billie Holiday, and I think it's fun. I think it's fitting. You might not understand right now, but I think it's fitting. On another tangent, I think one of my goals for 2025 is to listen to more jazz music. Some of the reason might be because I'm a Taeyong bias, but also I grew up listening to a lot of jazz stations from my dad. I don't know, he would always listen to it while like driving in the car, and me being a kid, I didn't appreciate it as much, but now that I'm an adult, I'm like, this kind of slaps. And part of me wants to go to more like jazz clubs or just places where they have live jazz music. I don't know, it just seems like a really fun thing to do, so that's something that I want to do in 2025. If any of y'all are jazz listeners or know of any places in New York City that have live jazz music, please let me know and drop it in the comments. On that note, I'm gonna take a break, get back into writing, and catch y'all after the next writing sprint. Hello, it is 11:38. I finished up a writing sprint and my total word count for tonight is 1008 words. I put a lot of inside jokes into this chapter. I don't want to give too much away because just like this is definitely going to be later on in the story. I'm having a little time. It's a little cringy, I'm not gonna lie. We'll probably try to make it not as cringy when I'm editing later down the line. But right now I'm just having a swell time. This does put me in a little bit of predicament in terms of just like how I'm doing my flashback scenes, because if I place it where I'm thinking of placing it right now, it happens too early within like the timeline of the flashback scenes. Because as mentioned before, each chapter kind of has like its own flashback scene and then a present day scene, and the flashback scenes are happening in chronological order from the time that they met all the way up until like they last spoke to each other before we jump into the present day timeline, which is already a struggle because I'm rethinking how I want to do the timeline for the flashback. Like, should they have met earlier in their lives? Is this a good time? Basically, I have to figure out how the curriculum of their school works because not any old boarding school in Switzerland with a university program attached to it, which is already like wild to begin with. It's also a spy boarding school and the agency is like attached to it, but like the general public doesn't know it's a spy school or that it has a spy agency. It's basically just a huge front and everyone thinks it's just some fancy smancy school with like a fancy smancy agency. But that means I have complete freedom on what I get to do with the school and agency. I think we'll figure that out another time. So I'm gonna go on a break, get back into writing, and see y'all after the next writing sprint. Hello, it is 12:18 a.m. I just finished up my writing sprint. My total word count for tonight is 1,505 words. We're doing swimmingly with this little flashback scene. I did put in a placeholder, but other than that, I'm pretty much done with it. It's really fun. It's really juicy. I really like it. I hope I get to keep all of it because I had a lot of fun with it and I think it adds to the story. But you know, we'll see what happens. It's something that I didn't really get to develop in any of the other previous drafts. So I'm happy I got to play around with it and see what I like. But that does mean that I have to go back to the present day timeline, which is annoying just because I have a lot of like pacing issues and timeline issues because there's not like a specific year that's attached to this project, but the timeline of the story with the flashbacks and the present day scene, it does span almost like 10 years. So I need to be mindful of like what happens when. And the present day timeline kind of happens over the span of 2 to 3-ish weeks. I haven't really decided on that and I probably should. But all of this to say is that the flashback scenes happen over a period of time and the present day scene has a bit of a time crunch to it. So I might spend my break and probably the next sprint just organizing that and making sure that everything makes sense. So wish me luck with that. So I'm gonna take a break, go into my next writing sprint, editing sprint, whatever kind of sprint it's gonna be, and then check in with y'all afterwards. Hello, it is 12:59 a.m. I finished up a writing sprint. My total word count for tonight is 1,882 words. We're doing pretty well tonight. I did get back into the present day scene that I was last working on. I'm doing the thing again, aka I'm making it very angsty because I thought I had a direction in which I wanted the scene to go. The way that I had it just didn't feel right to me. I was like, okay, it's because they need to have this conversation and this conversation is very angsty. So the conversation is like souring right now when originally it was supposed to be very like light and cheerful and hopeful, but this draft said not today, baby cakes, not today. And I'm just like, you know what, the characters are telling me what the story is, so this is what the story's gonna be. On that note, it does say that for the month of December I have written 48,166 words in the draft. So basically I have less than 2,000 words that I need to write in order to hit my goal. I'm kind of a loser and I don't have any plans for New Year's Eve. Probably just gonna be a homebody and just like watch the ball drop from TV. I'm kind of planning on writing anyway on New Year's Eve and then writing on New Year's Day just so I could finish the series and also add in more words. But we'll see how that goes. I think I want to fit in one more writing sprint for tonight because I want to see how this chapter goes. It's gonna be interesting. So I will go on my break, get back into writing, and catch up with y'all after the next writing sprint. Hello, it is 1:35 a.m. I finished up a writing sprint and my total word count for tonight is 2,163 words. There were so many moments where I was like, wow, this couple, they're definitely not like perfect. Maybe a little toxic, but you know what? We love imperfect humans. There were a few times where I'm like, wow, this is bad. Spoiler alert, the main characters are fighting.
Wait! What is the tea? The girls are fighting! No!
And part of me is just like, where's the romance again in this romance book? It's just a lot. But you know what? We have a lot of pain, a lot of angst, a lot of trauma between these two that like they're bound to blow up. They're bound to blow up. It's just inevitable. But it's really interesting how they handle this fight, this situation. Because I'm like, they can definitely handle this more maturely, but also they're human, so I don't really expect that much from them. But overall, it's a good time. It's an entertaining time. We're just watching the mess unfold. And I think on that note, I am going to end it for tonight. We made really good progress, and I think we're probably gonna hit 50,000 words either tomorrow or the day after. But either way, this is so exciting, and I'm so happy that we were able to do this. Thank you for joining me in my writing and my yapping. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!